I'm Tim, and welcome to watchyouwant.com. Thanks for logging on. Complications and the treatment thereof has been the most dangerous game for Officine Panerai. In its history, the company known for making big, bold, military-inspired sports watches, again, only a civilian manufacturer since 1993, has consistently found that the Paneristi, the global fraternity of enthusiasts of these watches, strongly prefer their watches simple, traditional, legible, and uncomplicated. And yet, every once in a while, a model like the Luminor 1950 Rattrapante PAM00362 that we have here manages to transcend the barriers to complication, keeping all of the traditional Panerai traits, the dial, the device protecting the crown, the big, unprepossessing, square-jawed sports watch look, all intact, while adding a useful and interesting horological content to the equation. And in this case, with the PAM00362, you have that classic Luminor 1950 47mm cushion case, the device protecting the crown, the big, heavily loomed, highly legible, again, that's day or night, Panerai dial, with a split-second chronograph integrated. Now, this model was introduced in 2010, and it combines a lot of the best of both worlds. This is instantly recognizable as a Panerai Luminor. In fact, it would be hard to mistake it for anything but. What you're also getting, though, is a useful complication, arguably the king of complications, in the split-second chronograph. Now, Rattrapante is the split-second chronograph, useful for timing two separate contestants in any kind of racing event, a foot race, an auto race, yachts rounding their marks in a regatta, and the ability to start and stop two separate hands to time two separate intervals to see if distance between cars over several laps is increasing or decreasing, to time splits over the course of laps or over perhaps even legs of a single lap in the case of a foot race. It's useful, it's fun, and it's also a great party favor because the watch features the ability to time those two intervals, or it features the ability to function conventionally as a chronograph. Now, you can see that if I want to start and stop the chronograph, I'm more than free to do so. The hands move in unison when I want them to, but they, quote, split the seconds when I need them to. Now, what Panerai does with this watch is they take the basic Valjoux 7750 and they modify it extensively. Now, the 7750 is a workhorse, one of the all-time great automatic chronograph calibers, but if there were anything that were a strike against it, it would be perhaps that it's not the most interesting thing to look at through a display caseback, and because of its cam operation or its coulisse lever arrangement, it's not quite as crisp in the hand as it could be. But in the form of the OP XVIII Panerai caliber used in the Luminor Rattrapante, that changes. For one thing, the movement is beautifully decorated. Blued screws, beveled edges, Cote de Genève. There's a lot going on here that's interesting. Great to look at, a real treat for the eye. The watch also includes a column wheel, that traditional function selector that imparts the crisp rifle bolt-like feel to a really well-made chronograph. If there was just one main shortcoming of the 7750, which is an absolute tank, almost unbreakable as watches go, I mean really, it's up there with your Rolex and ETA 2824, 2892 movements in the pantheon of all-time toughest automatics, but if there were any strike against it, it would just be that actuating mechanism. People prefer the column wheel, and in the Panerai PAM00362 Rattrapante, you get it. A gorgeous watch to look at. It's also one of only 499 made, so exclusivity is assured. Now, watchyouwant.com is offering this model, which combines the best of complication and classical Panerai simplicity, with a 100% complete set. Everything from the chronometer certificate, this is a COSC certified Swiss chronometer, to the accessory jeweler's tool and the accessory strap is included with this watch. That's right, if you're into learning about the Paneristi subculture of strap swapping, aftermarket straps, alternate factory straps, sometimes even bracelets, every material from stingray to rubber, you're ready to start with one accessory strap already included and that jeweler's tool, so you can actually go in, remove the lugs yourself. It has the quick release lug system introduced roughly mid-decade on the Panerai Luminors. Each one of these little tabs right here activates a spring bar release, so you can simply slide the spring bar out. It's not even, strictly speaking, a spring bar because the spring is entirely within the lug. It's just a retaining bar. Very sturdy, but also very user-friendly. This makes strap swapping even easier than the traditional screw-retained Panerai Luminor straps. Now this watch is from any distance recognizable as a Panerai Luminor, but I'm going to just draw attention to the 1950 case. More highly contoured from every angle, it features complex compound curves. It's a real treat for the eyes, and you run your finger over it, you can feel just how far Panerai's come as a luxury watch manufacturer since it burst on the scene in 1993. Those first Panerai Luminor 44s were rather squat, really more of a little rectangular can than a cushion. This has the qualities of a cushion, beautifully sculpted and also true to history. This is really what the Panerai 1950s and late 40s transitional references as Panerai began to round into its modern, recognizable, quote, Luminor form. This is really what those looked like. So not only do you get a beautiful rendition of a luxury watch case, but you do get something that even recovers a little bit of Panerai history as Panerai adds a new legacy of classically rendered, discreetly rendered complications. Now this watch, although complicated, doesn't read as a busy dial. It reads as a Panerai Luminor, and it doesn't feel like an overwrought modern sports watch that's trying too hard. It feels like the traditional no-nonsense wrist instrument that Italian commandos, Egyptian commandos, even the Israelis, I believe, after the war, strapped onto their wrists for amphibious operations. So that classic appeal is very much intact. Whether you're into strap swapping, whether you're into Panerai explicitly, sports watches in general, whether you like a complicated watch, whether you want to try the latest flavor of Panerai strap and you just need a cool platform, this one stands out from the crowd because although any Panerai is, well, pretty much except the ones with the actual welded lugs, are going to be strap swap friendly, it doesn't really get any better than a 1950 47mm case with the quick release lugs, and this watch is getting you started with full factory accessories, everything you'd receive at the Panerai boutique. It's a fun watch to play with, it's a stunning watch to behold, it's a great conversation piece, and again, no matter where you're coming from, this could be the Panerai Luminor reference for you. So check it out on our website, watchyouwant.com, with full factory accessories. This just might be the Panerai Luminor that you want.